Okay, you join me in the upstairs part of my gym, and if I'm being brutally honest, people have left it in shit state, so I'm going to tidy up whilst we make this video. Now this video is going to be about programming and why your programming is still not right for you, and probably more akin for a 22-year-old, and the reasons why we need to think a little bit more sensibly or be a little bit more strategic with how we get fit. And by we, I mean us old fuckers that are 35 plus, battered, bruised, but not out yet. We're not down. We may be down, but we're not out. So we've still got to keep going. So first thing we've got to think about is our hormones. Now, testosterone levels from about 30 years old start to decrease 1 to 2% every year. Now, when you think about that, if you've never had your levels tested, there are a few good things. So if you can go see a doctor, the only thing about that is the NHS are shit, and they'll tell you that your levels are okay when they're probably through the floor. But you can go on something like Thriver, Newman. There's loads of testosterone things out there that you can check. That's for guys. But women, your testosterone levels need to be checked as well. When you start thinking about menopause and again on the HRT, that's all about affecting your testosterone levels. You actually have quite a lot of, maybe not as much as men, but your testosterone levels need to be high for you to be able to access muscle building and all those good things. For men and women, testosterone is key. You need it. So get it tested. But anyway, after 30, it dives 1 to 2% every year. Now, if you're 46 like me, that's what? If you say 2%, that's 15, 16 years, that's 32%. And my testosterone's dropped. And I didn't get it tested back then either. So I didn't even know what it was to start with. I think they can find that out though. So we need to take into consideration things that can help boost our testosterone. So your diet needs to be a good diet. What can help you with testosterone boosting? So Zapply, if you look at things like that, where it's like zinc, magnesium, all those minerals and nutrition, all those nutrients that are in there, Tonka Ali, Shilajit, I think that's how they say it, probably wrong. But all those testosterone boosting minerals. Zapply, I've tried, very good. Talking to it with one of my members the other day, Sean, and I did say like the one good side effect was that well, I didn't even recognize myself downstairs because it made such a difference. So if that's the only difference it made, it was well worth it. But when you think about testosterone levels, that's your mood, your health, your muscle repair, muscle growth. So it's a key thing. Cortisol, stress. Stress is going to kill your gains. Now, if your gains, if you're not getting sleep because you're stressed at work, if your body's just working so hard on the routine or the program that you're doing, that stress is going to massively affect how you recover between workouts. So you have to take that into consideration when you're doing your programming, making sure that your program is factoring in rest days so you can sleep. Now, if you're like me and sleep is like just a luxury, I'm lucky to get maybe 6 hours. 6 hours a night if I'm lucky. And when I'm talking about quality of sleep, they recommend between 7 and 9 hours a day, an evening. I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't even when I last slept 7 hours, but if you can get that timing in, then that's going to help reduce your cortisol levels. So that's your stress hormone. So all these things, stress, testosterone, if they're through the floor, then or through the roof, then you're going to be struggling with your program. And that's where recovery, where periodization in your programming. So making sure that you factor in, different body parts, changing your reps, make sure you get deload weeks, making sure that you have these factors all taken care of. And, then once you've got that in your program, you will be successful. Maximizing your programming is key. So what is periodization and why is it important? So periodization basically means that you split up your program into what's called macro cycles, mesocycles. So from day to day, week to week, month to month. Now, my program for the Forge program is a strength-based program. So the way I periodize it is I do it from week to week. So we will change the loads and the rep ranges every week. Now the core part of my program, and something that I've seen countless times over the last 16 years to make it successful, is that your core exercises never change. You've got to squat, you've got to hinge, you've got to push, you've got to pull, you've got to carry, and you've got to lunge. If those 6 movement patterns are in your program, then you're doing pretty much everything that you need to be able to keep the body functioning. Now, when I talk about squats, now I'm a stickler for the back squat. Love it, always have. And I think it's the king of all exercises, but ultimately, I'm on the verge, I'm on a mission to get back to 200 kilos on the back squat. Now, how I plan to do that isn't going to be through doing a fuck ton of back squats. I'm going to periodize my program, and I'm going to try and make it so that we can go from back squats to front squats, to goblet squats, to Zercher squats, to pistol squats, and we're going to work on trying to get these programs 5x5, 6x4, 7x3, 8 doubles, and testing my strength, or our strength in the program, across lots of different exercises. Box squats with a front squat, kettlebell, double kettlebell front squats, all these different variations of squatting. I can push to 80 or 90%, but because they're not as heavy as my back squat, my central nervous system, so all my brain and all the nerves that supply my muscles, they're not going to get as tired, and so I'm not going to stress myself, my body, as much as if I was constantly pushing for back squat. Now, if you think about some of the top deadlifters in the world, they only deadlift every 10 to 14 days. Now think about that. So the best lifters in the world only do their best lift every 10 days. So the rest of the time, they do good mornings, banded good mornings, Romanian deadlifts, power cleans, box step-ups, anything that's got a posterior chain. Sled pulls are fantastic, and they're part of my program all the time. And by alternating exercises, by changing the reps, by changing the emphasis, that keeps the stress levels low and keeps your growth hormone high. Think about how the body releases growth hormone. Legs. You've got to train your legs to release your natural growth hormone. The bigger the muscles, the more calories you burn. The more calories you burn, the more weight you'll lose, so you won't hold on to fat as much. Now, it's all a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that all comes down to good programming and making sure that you are hitting all the right things at all the right times. Now, if your program isn't getting you gains, or you feel absolutely shattered all the time, not sleeping very well, or just generally fancy a change, then look into send me a message. I will send you a week's worth of programming. You can check it out, give it a go, and if you like it, join the program. If you don't, then at least you've had a 3 weeks programming training. Steal my ideas and give it a try yourself. Try and write your own program. You know your body the best. You know you the best and what you need. And I think like the fitness industry is full of people trying to tell you what's best for you, and I think business is the same. People constantly telling you that they know best and their method's best. But ultimately, you've got to try these things, give it a go. You won't lose anything by trying different exercises, different strategies, but you might just find the one that works for you. And when you find the one that works for you, you're in a very good place. Anyway, I hope you're doing well, and maybe I'll see you in the Discord one day soon.